We'll go back down in the mid-70s tonight with mid and upper 90s for our Friday. And by the weekend, just an all-out heat wave. Expect many storms with feels like temperatures easily in the low 100s Saturday and Sunday and into next week, too. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
At Huntington Learning Center in Huntersville, it's not just tutoring, it's transformations. Summer programs K-8 offer $600 off for 30 hours and $900 off for 45. Limited spots. Enroll now. Military test prep too. Trusted, proven, personal. Visit huntingtonhelps.com.
At Kane Center for the Arts, we believe art is for everyone. From our exciting performing arts series and gallery exhibits to robust education programs and impactful community initiatives, there's something for everyone. Visit kanearts.org.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Hello and welcome to Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here, 4 o'clock hour on a Thursday. If you're a 9-to-5er, you've got 53 minutes and 22 seconds until we get to that 5 o'clock bell. And I appreciate so much you spending that time with us here as we give attention to all things economic, financial. We're going to be talking on a slew of things. I can still use that word, I think, a slew of things that we're going to be talking about here today. Lots of earnings. We're kind of in the thick of it in terms of relative mid-year earnings season. We're going to be talking about a lot of different companies. We're going to be talking about some other kinds of things that may be on your radar screen as well, especially as we're getting, I know, ready or not, towards the end of the summer season. Before you know it, we'll be talking more about start of school, Labor Day weekend, and then, my goodness, then you just get Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, just right at the end. It's going to get right to the end of it in a dead sprint. But in doing so, as we're talking about all kinds of things here, again, economic and financial, nothing is intended as a specific recommendation for you, meaning that even as we're doing so, everybody's situation is unique. It's very important that you realize that and realize as we're talking about things here, and it's going to happen again today. I'll tell you that in advance. We're going to be looking at some things in a more positive light and other things in maybe not so positive light. It's not intended in any way to speak into your particular financial situation. We strongly, strongly recommend that you reach out to your tax advisor, your financial advisor, or if you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group, love to hear from you. Love to chat about your particular financial situation, see if there are ways in which we might be able to be helpful to you. Online, you can find us at northmainfinancial.com. That's north like the direction, Main like the street, financial.com, northmainfinancial.com. We have a contact page on there. Leave us an email address, phone number. Let us know, and I've been instructed to tell you this as well. Let us know if the phone number you desire to be texted instead of called. That's a big deal. I understand a lot of folks use text instead of the old verbal communication when it comes to their smartphones, and so let us know if that's the way that you prefer to be contacted, again, at northmainfinancial.com. You're also welcome to call us here in the studio anytime. I mean, you literally can do it anytime. And that's true not just for this show, but for all the shows here at WSIC. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. One more time, 844-788-3464 here in the studio. Feel free to talk to producer Reese. Let him know. You got a question on something that's kind of hit your radar screen. Maybe it speaks into your particular financial situation. You know, though, I can't give particular advice here over the air. My goodness, the FCC would just start saying not very nice things about me. Definitely don't want to do that. But certainly if there are questions in a broad-based sense that I can address on the air, happy to do that. And if there are specific things to your situation, happy to talk with you offline and see if there are ways in which we can be helpful to you. Again, in the studio here, 844-788-3464. All right, let's jump into it. Got a full deck here. I feel like I say that every week, but it's true. I mean, it's really true. We got a very full deck here. I'm going to start with something that may be off your radar screen, but I promise you, once it gets into the colder months of the season, if your house is heated with a natural gas furnace or a furnace that is fueled by natural gas, definitely want to be high on your radar screen. It has to do with the price of natural gas. Now, during the summer season, and I completely appreciate this, for maybe close to 100% of folks, except for some folks who are kind of out there like I am, watching these kinds of things in the commodities markets. The price of natural gas is probably not high on your radar screen. But one of the things that's been true for this summer season, and this has been a trend, I'll call it a trend, because it really is at this point, over the last, we're close to 10 years at this point. that the price of natural gas, because of the supply influx here in the United States, specifically with regards to shale drilling or the opportunity for us to drill in shale areas much more efficiently than we have in the past and in new geographic areas. I have office in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All of southwestern Pennsylvania certainly knows what I'm talking about here. And if you happen to be from there or listening to the podcast and that end of things, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That the drilling for natural gas in southwestern Pennsylvania, in eastern Ohio, northern West Virginia has really taken off here in the last 10, 15 years or so. As a result of that, the price of natural gas, or as it's measured, it has fallen dramatically because the supply has increased so much and the demand element has not increased at the same pace as the supply element has increased, i.e., then you have a falling price scenario, right? Well, what we're seeing here over the summer is that has been accelerating. Now, usually during the summer months, the warmer months here in the States, the price of natural gas, very understandably, drops a little bit. And it does that primarily for weather-related reasons, meaning that because there are not as many folks who are firing up their furnaces here in the U.S., especially if you are south of the Mason-Dixon line, it's just not going to be the same demand element for natural gas. And so the price naturally falls. That's pretty well known. It's also pretty well known that once we get around, let's say, about Halloween, that the price is going to eke up a little bit. Not a lot, because the markets are very anticipatory of that kind of thing seasonally when it comes to natural gas. The reason why I'm bringing it up here is because the price drop here, coming really through the winter months last year into now the warm season here, the price has fallen significantly, meaning over 25% below norms. And that has been attributed, at least at this point, according to most of the analysts that I've read, has been attributed primarily to an increase in supply over demand, meaning we just have a whole lot more easily accessible to us than there is a demand element for it, even more than normal here over the last 10 years or so. To the extent that there is some speculation that the price of natural gas may not flutter up as much as it normally does coming into the winter season, which may mean, this is the real reason that I'm bringing it to you here in a very extended, long-winded kind of way, it may mean a positive impact on your heating bill if you heat with natural gas here come the summer. When I say positive effect, I mean that it's going to be less. And that's something you want to watch. I'm not guaranteeing that. This is obviously not the kind of thing that I'm saying absolutely will happen, but it's shaping up to be that way in terms of the price to heat your home in similar ways this coming winter season, maybe a little bit less than what it was here last season, and certainly over the last couple of cold season elements. That it may indeed be a little bit less expensive for you to heat your home. It's a big deal because those are the kinds of things, especially when we're talking about budgetary sort of things, those are the kinds of things that are absolutely instrumental in the fixed cost of everyone's budget, right? The cost to heat our homes. And whether you're using oil or whether you're using natural gas, which is what natural gas is obviously the most oft used ones in our newer homes now. If you are still wood burning, obviously very different commodity there in terms of how you're heating. Not as many of those places, especially here in the South, but up north, we still have quite a few of our wood burning spaces. But certainly when it comes to natural gas, impacting a lot of folks when it comes to the budgetary aspect of things. And certainly if we can do anything, especially because we've experienced inflationary pressures across so many of our commodities and in our fixed costs, that if we can come to one that maybe not only is not going up, but maybe even pulls back a little bit, boy, what a benefit would be. So we're watching that, keeping that on the radar screen. That's a big deal, but budgetary-wise. Even in the commodity markets, it seems like a lot of traders are just kind of surprised that there's such weakness in the pricing element of things. But again, it's a transformative market. It is vastly different from what it was 10, 15, certainly 20 years ago. And that's what happens, folks. The supply-demand relationship, how those things go together, that's what creates a market. I appreciate so much you hanging with us here on Dollars and Cents. We're going to take a few seconds to hear from our sponsors, but hang with us as we come back in a few moments on WSIC.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's a nice break, just a brief break from humidity as that humidity already starts to work its way back in today. Still mainly dry. High temperatures climb up into the low 90s and mid 90s for the afternoon. We'll go back down in the mid 70s tonight with mid and upper 90s for our Friday, and by the weekend, just an all-out heat wave. We'll expect many storms, but feels like temperatures easily in the low 100s Saturday and Sunday and into next week too. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, July 24th, the Alec Ottaway Band performs at Langtree Live. Lawn chairs and blankets are welcomed for this good old and new-fashioned country music. The show is free, food and beverages will be for sale, and the concert sound is powered by Waves Entertainment. The Alec Ottaway Band takes the stage at 7 p.m. Thursday for Langtree Live. It is Christmas in July in downtown Mooresville, Thursday through Sunday. Downtown shops will be offering open houses, specials, gifts, treats, and more with a special Sip and Shop on Friday night. Visit downtown Mooresville this weekend for Christmas in July. Friday night, Birkdale Village presents their Live Under the Oaks concert series with a performance by Hey L.A. The band plays at 6 p.m. on the Plaza stage with their popular cover tunes as well as originals. Enjoy music, food, drinks, and community for a fun Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music on Saturday with a performance by country artist Andy Buckner. Don't miss this 6 p.m. show featuring Andy's gritty and soulful voice blending with his honky-tonk style. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on golfing and fun events. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for Champions Night, round number 10, on Tuesday, July 29th. The Summer Shootout season finale includes the addition of school bus racing, fireworks, and a raffle for Monster Truck Bash tickets. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information on the Summer Shootout and other 2025 events. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Yes, you can text the pediatrician directly, day or night. That's the power of personal, holistic pediatric care. We come to you, we know your family. It's healthcare with heart, just like it used to be. Call or text Dr. Trey at PedsMD 980-983-0643.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. Second quarter of today's show, Football Reference. We're going to talk sports here. We usually do that during the second quarter. And I can especially start to talk sports because producer Reese has, as he does every week, has put up the official countdown clock for the start of the NFL season, which according to the NFL.com website, 41 days, 7 hours, 41 minutes, 17 seconds until we have the kickoff day for the NFL. And producer Reese and I were talking here just during the break, and we're starting to see it happen, folks, right? I mean, and we were saying also, I feel bad for the baseball folks because now football is now really dotting our sports headlines right now. I mean, I saw some interviews, start a training camp, guys that are hauling in fans and suitcases and cleats and all kinds of stuff as they're moving into a variety of mostly college dormitories, right? As they're getting ready for camp. And man, I don't know about you, but here in the Carolinas right now, it is still incredibly hot. I can't even. It's a challenge to be outside in the middle of the day, let alone having football gear and headgear on to be in those 2 days. I mean, that's sweating it out. But it's happening. Football season's going to be here. I mean, at 41 days, it's going to vaporize. And also, for the record, it's important for us to recall, as we do every week during the offseason, that our beloved Carolina Panthers continue to be in the exact same space as every other team, every other of the 31 teams in the NFL for winning the Super Bowl. Still there, producer Reese, not going away. We are still there. I mean, and until the season starts, we will continue to be in that space, and we will remind everybody that we have the same opportunity to win the Super Bowl as everybody else.
I'm going to try to watch every game this year.
Why wouldn't you? Absolutely.
I feel like it gives us a better chance if I watch.
See, now if you're one of those, I feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like when I watch that they don't play as well.
Okay.
So which is kind of painful because I want to watch, right? But I feel like when I watch that they don't play as well.
Yeah.
See, I don't feel like I'm a good omen for them. So whatever it
Well,
takes.
here's the thing: if they lose, which I don't think they will,
There you go.
I got to keep the spirit.
You do have to keep the. We're riding the bus this far. We
But
are not getting off.
If something happens,
Yeah.
I want to see how it happened.
I do
I don't
too.
want to just know.
I
I want
do
to
too.
see what happened
I do too.
before then.
I do too. I'm the same way. And we got to talk a little bit financials here. But besides the fact that the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business on top of everything, I have to talk about numbers wise because the contract was just announced here this past week. And this is a shout out to all my Steeler fans. I know a lot of Steeler fans who listen here to WSIC. I mean, you got what you wanted. I mean, you got TJ Watt signed up for 3 more years. That was a big deal. And I'm not saying I didn't want it either. I would just like to point out that in that 3-year contract, $120 million. Now, which produced a tweet. Are they still called tweets on X? I guess they are, right? So when somebody posts something, still called tweets, even though it's now called X. Okay. To the extent that somebody happened to forward to me, a Steelers fan, happened to forward me a screenshot of a tweet from TJ's brother, JJ Watt, who is retired, probably on his way to the Hall of Fame, an exceptional defensive lineman when he was playing in the NFL, who said something to the effect of, I better never have to pick up a dinner check ever again. Which is a fair sentiment, A, coming from a brother, and B, with regards to the size of the contract. It's not... It's a big deal, especially for the Steelers, to put out that amount of money for a single player because they're not casual about that kind of stuff, especially for a guy that's got some miles on him. And I'm not saying that TJ's at the end of his career, but he's definitely got some miles on him. And to put out that kind of contract for that guy, and again, TJ probably going to the Hall of Fame as well. I mean, he's just an unbelievable player.
Yeah. JJ played for the Texans, right?
Texans, yes, he did. I think if not for all of his career, very nearly all of his career in that space. Yeah, he was a monster. I mean, he was unbelievable. But I think this contract that his younger brother just signed may have dwarfed some of the ones that he had. So he's saying he should not have to pick up the dinner tab. I would agree. I mean, if I was JJ, TJ is my brother, signed that contract, I am never picking up the dinner tab ever again.
I agree.
I would actually even say you may just want to buy me a car or something because you won't miss it. All right. Big money is what we're talking about. That's why we're bringing it up. In addition to the fact that we have to like talking sports as well, but big money. That's not the only one that's out there. I mean, there's just so much from a dollar standpoint that goes into these contracts. And even with regards to this year's draft, saw a very interesting piece. I believe it was in the New York Times, and don't nail me on it if it's not, but I believe it was in the New York Times, talking about the amount of guaranteed money in these rookie contracts. And it used to be, when I say used to be, not like it's been like that forever. I would say over the last, let's say 15, maybe 20 years, that the only place where you would ever see guaranteed money was with the first-round draft picks. And not even all of the first-round draft picks, say the first 10, 15, maybe 20, that you saw guaranteed money. The big deal this year is that somebody, and forgive me, I'm not remembering the team, but one of the teams started with putting in guaranteed money for a second-round draft pick. Now, what's challenging about that is, I think, is that if you are not the one who has initiated that, you almost have to do it as somebody else who has a second-round draft pick because then you're going to get a holdout, right? So, and think about it from the player's perspective. If you're the one who's then looking at, even if it was earlier in the second round and they got some guaranteed money, okay, maybe they got 50% of their contract guaranteed. Well, if I'm several picks back, maybe I get 40% of mine guaranteed or 30% or whatever it may be. But again, when the average career inside of the NFL, I believe this number is still accurate. It's been a little while since I've looked at this, but the average career in the NFL is right around 4 years. Having some guaranteed money is a big deal. It's not like you're going to be in this career for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're going to be in that space and be able to to renew contracts on top of contracts. I mean, for most folks, even after you get to that elite level in the NFL, you're not going to be there very long. So I appreciate at a high level wanting to have a little bit more guaranteed money on that aspect of things. But again, what you're trying to do, I mean, owners aren't going to give it up willingly, right? They're going to do it because they think it's going to benefit the team and probably themselves from a financial standpoint by doing that. And so it's going to be interesting to watch. I just thought that was interesting, an interesting dynamic insofar as this draft is concerned. And now we've kind of introduced this idea of guaranteed money into the second round. What's that going to mean? May mean it's going to be more expensive for owners. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be more expensive for owners relative to their draft picks. Does that affect how they draft? Does it affect the kinds of things that they have to charge ticket price wise? I can't imagine an NFL ticket being any more expensive. But there's a demand, so maybe they increase ticket prices. Maybe that comes into the renegotiation aspect of the next television contract. I mean, it's all in there. And frankly, the NFL, the brand, the shield, I mean, they have the upper hand, I think, in all of that process because the brand, the shield, the draw for the NFL, it just seems to be relentless. I mean, every time I think it's going to get a little bit slower or the demand element can't get any higher, boy, I just get proven wrong. So kind of interesting. So we always talk football in here. That's what we usually do during the second quarter. Got to keep going. I got earnings reports coming out of my ears right now. Got to bring up some of those here. Got to talk about one, actually. This isn't earnings. This is actually a merger possibility that's sitting out there. Two huge names in the logistics business. And you may be thinking trucks. Nope, I'm talking trains. United Pacific and Norfolk Southern made public, which no, it doesn't happen very often before, let's say, they're here comes a horrible cliche, moving down the track of negotiation, but made public that they're in discussion about a possible merger. Now, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, in case you don't know, two of the largest railroad companies in the country right now, talking about the possibility for merger. Now, publicly traded, by the way, Union Pacific is Umbrella Nancy Paul, UNP, Norfolk Southern, Nancy Sam Charlie, NSC. Not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold the equity or the debt for either one of those companies. But very, very interesting because, and this, I just found this out as this news broke, there is not one of the major train companies, going to include Burlington in that as well, and CSX in those mix, two other huge train companies here in this country. No one entity has connective tracks from coast to coast, meaning east to west, meaning they have to pay and cross over some other company's tracks in order to get from California to the Charleston port in South Carolina. I thought that was very interesting. That makes sense when I hear that because of the number of miles of track that's out there in this country, but I didn't realize that one company didn't have a single pathway. And so that actually is the reason why Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern said that they're in negotiation. One of the big things that jumped out to me, though, as I heard that, is antitrust. I mean, you put two, there really only are four major ones. I mentioned them already. It's Union Pacific again and Norfolk Southern who are in negotiation about merger here. It's CSX and Burlington Northern. That's really it. Those are the four huge ones, almost like the airline industry, right? I mean, we used to have a whole collection of big legacy carriers. Now we're down to three, basically, with American and United and Delta. Very similar in that regard only with regards to the rail companies. And so I would be concerned. I mean, I don't have all of the information, certainly, with regards to what I hope was good due diligence before they leaked this announcement that they're in negotiation about what the antitrust concerns would be, meaning would there be too few choices? I heard some commentary this morning as there was discussion on this possible merger that one of the things they could offer up to the Department of Justice, assuming that they're going to get a look from an antitrust standpoint, is not raising prices for some significant measure of time. Meaning that if they do get the chance to merge, that they agree not to raise prices on freight for some measure of time. They threw out 5 years, which I think is an eternity, that they would need to agree to. It'll be interesting to see. I certainly would be concerned from an antitrust standpoint, but stranger things have happened. So we're going to keep watching it. But before we keep watching it, we're going to take another break here. We're going to hear from our sponsors. Going to come back here in a few moments on Dollars and Cents. Hang with us as we come back for the second half here on WSIC.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's a nice break, just a brief break from humidity as that humidity already starts to work its way back in today. Still mainly dry. High temperatures climb up into the low 90s and mid 90s for the afternoon. We'll go back down in the mid 70s tonight with mid and upper 90s for our Friday, and by the weekend, just an all-out heat wave. We'll expect many storms with feels like temperatures easily in the low 100s Saturday and Sunday and into next week too. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
This is Sheriff Darren Campbell with the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Every day, scammers are targeting people right here in our community through phone calls, emails, and text messages, trying to steal your money, your personal information, and even your identity. If someone calls claiming to be from a government, a bank, or even law enforcement demanding money or personal details, stop and think. Legitimate organizations will never ask for gift cards, wire transfers, or your passwords over the phone or email. If something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Hang up, don't click that link, and never share personal information with someone you don't trust. At the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, we're working to protect our community, and we're proud to partner with WSIC because local starts here, and keeping you informed keeps you safe. Stay alert, stay smart, and don't fall for a scam.
With 5 area locations, Desco is your go-to resource for electrical supplies. Albemarle, Mooresville, Salisbury, Statesville, and Lexington. No matter where the job takes you, you're sure to be close to a Desco. Shop now at DescoInc.com.
Yeehaw for rodeo season at Harrison's, the home of work, western, and wow! Whether you compete or cheer from the stands, Harrison has the looks to help you wow the crowd. Get western classics and the latest styles from Harriet, Cinch, Rock and Roll Denim, and Wrangler. Find us in Mooresville.
Lowry Drug is a source for excellent pharmacy services. We have served the Statesville community since 1959. We have attentive customer service, a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory, and the Dispill medication packaging system that takes the work out of medication management for those using medication planners. We do it for you. Come see us at Lowry Drug in Statesville. Call 704-873-2247. Come see us.
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion is the king of price when it comes to buying a new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, but how about king of price when it comes to the service department? Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville has you covered on tires, brakes, batteries, wipers, you name it. Any service you need on your vehicle, regardless of the make or model, come see Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville Service Department or Randy Marion Ford Lincoln Service Department today.
How can we make your day spotless? Yes, I'm Andrea, owner of Spotless Cleaning. Of course, our technicians do the extras. It surprises people. Yes, baseboards, window frames, and of course, toilets. Not maids, trained technicians. Exactly. In Brazil, my grandparents taught me to live my life without guilt. Yes, more time means better, bigger life. Yes, with Spotless Cleaning, you live it. Plus, have a clean house. SpotlessCleaningNC.com.
She's hot, and not in a fun way. You're both sweating, and nobody's happy. Cool off fast with Varsity Zone HVAC. Fast service, cold air, pure relief. Serving Mooresville and the entire Lake Norman area because summer shouldn't feel like a punishment. Visit VarsityZone.com.
It ain't easy being number one,
but we make it look good.
WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks winding down the session mixed, but tech stocks leading gains in the S&P 500, with Alphabet's results showing solid demand for artificial intelligence, which is bolstering confidence in the technology that has powered the bull market. With Alphabet adding more than $1 trillion in market value since early 2023, CEO Sundar Pichai's net worth has now increased to $1.1 billion. That's according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. American Airlines shares down over 9% after the carrier gave a forecast range for adjusted profit per share for the full year. The company said the third quarter was going to be tough due to a slump in consumer demand as well as deep fare discounts. American had originally withdrawn its guidance back in April over uncertainty regarding tariffs. Alaska Air, meanwhile, seeing an uptick in business travelers. The airline providing a new profit outlook for the year following a jump in demand from these travelers who had set aside trips early in the year due to concerns about possible tariffs and worsening inflation. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Nothing but the best talk.
The area's best talk.
WSIC.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. Second half of today's show, Football Reference. Appreciate you hanging with us. We got a little bit anecdotal there. We were talking about some things with regards to I say anecdotal. We were talking about the freight end of things. And I understand, maybe not racy or exciting when we're talking about railroad companies unless you're intimately involved in logistics or in the rail end of things. But I'll tell you what, folks, when you combine rail and trucks, meaning big trucks, and I'm talking box trucks, and I'm talking rigs, 18-wheelers, pretty much everything that you're touching right now at some point was on a big truck or rail, maybe both. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's so foundational and instrumental to our lives that it would be the kind of thing, not that I want this to happen, be the kind of thing where you may not appreciate just how fundamental it is to our every movement, every action of our day-to-day lives, unless they would go away or go on strike or not be accessible for a certain amount of time. It is pretty amazing. So we're watching Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern as they're in these conversations. Like I said, from the outside looking in, I have some antitrust concerns because there are only really 4 big ones here in the country as far as rail companies are concerned. It's going to be interesting to see. So we're going to be watching that pretty closely. Now, as we often do here, as we get into the second half of the show, we got to talk a little bit of food. We do. I mean, food. It's one of those words that begins with F that we talk about here on Dollars and Cents. Don't get carried away. These are the ones, all right? Finance, football, food. And not always in that order, especially when I'm hungry. But talking about food here, I was talking with producer Reese on a couple of things that came across my radar screen. All of them very important from a financial universe standpoint because they all affect our budgets. They all affect how we spend our money. But this one, especially apropos to the summer season, Instacart, publicly traded company, by the way, appropriately, ticker symbol Charlie Alpha Roger Terry, CART. Go ahead and say it together. Cart, that's correct. Instacart did a little bit. I wouldn't even call it a poll. They really just distributed some of their experiential data in terms of the folks through Instacart only. So this is obviously not a comprehensive poll, but with Instacart's data. So this would be ordering pints, quarts, gallons of ice cream from grocery stores and the like. Favorite ice cream flavors across the country. And then I also have some Carolina-specific data as well. But favorite flavors across the country. Producer Reese, you were spot on. I asked you what your favorite was. Producer Reese is a vanilla guy, so am I. Not that that's the only one that I like, but if you say, okay, you can only choose one here, and the chances that it's going to be available, right? So some of the more unique flavors not always available. So you are a vanilla guy, I'm a vanilla guy. So that's what it is. Number one, vanilla across the country. About a third of folks, vanilla is the number one. Close behind, probably very predictable at some level, chocolate. All right. Number 3, also, and you said this very quickly, Producer Reese. I probably wouldn't have said this as quickly. Number 3, cookies and cream. And I love cookies and cream too. Let's be honest, vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream, all of them. I am agnostic when it comes to choosing a particular favorite, meaning whichever one is in front of me is going to be my favorite of the day.
Where was strawberry at?
Strawberry was in the top 5.
Okay, because I like strawberry too.
Especially in the summertime, right? I mean, strawberries are ripe, and it's kind of a summertime flavor sort of thing. And so strawberry was in the top 5. So interesting, though, for the Carolinas, and I attribute this to just good Southern people here in the Carolinas, that we had here. So number 1 flavor, North and South Carolina. Interesting, not Georgia, which I thought was very interesting. Georgia, Instacart said this was not true in Georgia, but North and South Carolina, butter pecan. I mean, and I get that. I mean, that also, again, if that's in front of me, that's my favorite of the moment. I mean, just fantastic. So very summer specific kind of polling there by Instacart, but very interesting that again, North and South Carolina kind of bucking the international trend. in going with butter pecan there. So kind of interesting. Keeping on the food theme here, got a couple of other ones. One, a private company, the other publicly traded company. First one, privately held, actually owned by, as much as can be understood, still about 90% by the owner. And he started it there in the mid to late 90s. And I'm bringing this one up because my daughters have talked about this particular chicken franchise, fried chicken franchise, from some of their travels. I've brought up their name previously. I'm going to bring them up again because announcement made that in terms of proximity to us here in the greater Charlotte metro region, I would say also in the Lake Norman region, Raising Cane's. So Raising Cane's. Oh, you're bringing it up. See, that producer Reese, he's always two
I was
steps.
going to say, I was actually going to tell you that.
You saw this
before
news
the
as
end of
well?
the segment.
Yeah. I mean, you saw this news as well. Made the big announcement. Charlotte Business Journal, by the way, to attribute it appropriately. That's where I first saw it. The CBJ, and it may have been announced other places, but that's where I saw it, was in the CBJ. Rock Hill. So they've announced a location in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So that's just, well, let's say 15 minutes south of Charlotte. Once you get to the South Carolina line there, you got to get through Fort Mill.
From here.
I would say about, especially when the traffic's bad. Yeah, I would say it's about an hour from here, maybe 45 minutes when the traffic's a little better.
Maybe it's worth the drive for some people.
Well, I'm actually justifying this in my mind because in my head it's just right around the block. So to be able to justify it. But Raising Cane's coming to Rock Hill, and although they weren't specific, and this you probably saw this as well, producer Reese. The Charlotte area. So there's definitely, let's say, buying interest. I mean, they may already have their locations, and they're just not disclosing them yet, or they're still in negotiation on locking down specific places. But very interesting. Very interesting. So I got to share this with my daughters because they're going to be happy as pigs
Now
in mud.
that's exciting.
It is
if
exciting.
It's coming to the Charlotte area.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, before Lake Norman region's next. I wouldn't be at all surprised. We get one up here in Huntersville, Mooresville, especially one of the higher
like
traffic.
150 area.
Oh, it's exactly what I was thinking. Put up right up there in Mooresville. I mean, absolutely. No, it'll be interesting to see because I've heard a lot about this group. Again, privately held, so not publicly traded. Heard a lot about them, and as I've shared with you many times on the air, producer Reese, I've shared this with you offline as well. I have not, in my many years of existence on this planet, ever bumped into bad fried chicken. Not once. I mean, it's probably out there. I'm sure it is, actually. I'm sure it is. Never have encountered it. And let's say I have had more than my share of fried chicken. And as you mentioned as well, it's I wouldn't even say it's derivative partner, but certainly part of that equation, fried chicken wings.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had a bad one.
No.
Never once.
I hope to never run into a bad one.
I don't think it's going to happen either. I can't say. I mean, again, I'm sure there's a bad experience out there. I would probably justify it in some way of saying, well, I let that sit around too long or something.
I think if we stay around here,
yeah,
we're safe.
I think we are. There probably are places that have bad fried chicken. I just don't know about them. Yeah. That's why we live here.
I don't think they're here though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm absolutely agree. I'm going to keep on the fried chicken theme because we love fried chicken and food. And so we're looking at KFC, publicly traded company, formerly known. I have to call it KFC, formerly known as Kentucky Fried Chicken. They don't use that on any of their marketing materials now. So interesting. And I mean, I get it. I mean, maybe they're trying to diversify a little bit. So if you look at it, it's KFC across the board, and owned, by the way, by Yum Brands. Maybe one of the most perfect ticker symbols that's out there. YUM. Yum Brands owns Taco Bell, owns Pizza Hut. We talk about Yum Brands a lot, whether we're talking about Pizza Hut or Taco Bell, or in this instance, KFC. KFC, now this is another poll. And I wouldn't say it's actually a poll. That I shouldn't call it that way. Yelp was, which is the online rating source, talking about the best chicken option. So I guess it would be some level of a poll. Best fried chicken sandwich options. KFC came in at 18th. Now KFC has been doing fried chicken for a long time, and they're certainly in the fried chicken sandwich business. But apparently there are 17 others that a lot of other folks like ahead of KFC. Anyhow, they're offering some different options out there. Real quick, free bucket of chicken if you spend $15. If you spend $15 at KFC, free bucket of chicken. That's almost like a buy one, get one free. Holy smokes. And also introducing fried pickles. Now, I know there's some folks who are going to go to KFC just for the fried pickles alone. I might be one of them. And also for the buy one, get one free sort of bucket of chicken. Again, never met a bad bucket. Not once, not ever. Probably not going to start now. Appreciate it so much, folks. You're hanging with us here on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial. Hang with us. Coming back in a moment.
Make no mistake.
Did you say steak?
We'll be back to talk more finances and food on Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's a nice break, just a brief break from humidity as that humidity already starts to work its way back in today. Still mainly dry. High temperatures climb up into the low 90s and mid 90s for the afternoon. We'll go back down in the mid 70s tonight with mid and upper 90s for our Friday, and by the weekend, just an all-out heat wave. We'll expect many storms with feels like temperatures easily in the low 100s Saturday and Sunday and into next week too. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. On Thursday, July 24th, the Alec Ottaway Band performs at Langtree Live. Lawn chairs and blankets are welcomed for this good old and new-fashioned country music. The show is free, food and beverages will be for sale, and the concert sound is powered by Waves Entertainment. The Alec Ottaway Band takes the stage at 7 p.m. Thursday for Langtree Live. It is Christmas in July in downtown Mooresville, Thursday through Sunday. Downtown shops will be offering open houses, specials, gifts, treats, and more with a special sip and shop on Friday night. Visit downtown Mooresville this weekend for Christmas in July. Friday night, Birkdale Village presents their Live Under the Oaks concert series with a performance by Hey L.A. The band plays at 6 p.m. on the Plaza stage with their popular cover tunes as well as originals. Enjoy music, food, drinks, and community for a fun Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. The 500 Club in Statesville presents live music on Saturday with a performance by country artist Andy Buckner. Don't miss this 6 p.m. show featuring Andy's gritty and soulful voice blending with his honky-tonk style. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on golfing and fun events. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is at Charlotte Motor Speedway for Champions Night, round number 10 on Tuesday, July 29th. The Summer Shootout season finale includes the addition of school bus racing, fireworks, and a raffle for Monster Truck Bash tickets. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information on the Summer Shootout and other 2025 events. Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
From market trends to retirement plans, Joshua Dobi has you covered. We're back with more Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial on WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome back to Dollars and Cents, presented by North Main Financial. I'm your host, Joshua Dobi. Thank you so much for hanging with us. You made it. Fourth quarter, football reference, of today's show. 11 minutes and 53 seconds until we get to that 5 o'clock bell. And I appreciate you spending that time with us here as we're giving attention to all things economic and financial. We're throwing in some anecdotes as well. We're talking about NFL contracts and fried chicken. And I mean, when talking fried chicken, don't laugh at me. Fried chicken is a huge business. There's a reason why, and you don't have to believe me on this. First of all, you can Google it, you can find out for yourself. But the number of quick serve restaurants that are including some variation of fried chicken now in their mix of offerings, that's all you need to know. And I'm going to point to McDonald's. I was just talking with producer Reese during a break about that. I'm pointing to McDonald's. By the way, McDonald's, publicly traded company, Mary Charlie Daniel, not a recommendation. Charlie Daniel, you saw that. Not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold the stock or the debt. But when they come out with additional fried chicken offerings, they're going to the chicken strips now, and now they've already had the nuggets. They got the chicken sandwich. There's a reason why, and the reason why is because they know there's a market there. So you're looking at traditionally a hamburger and fry kind of place, and definitely moving into that kind of market. So very, very interesting to see, and the number of different quick serve restaurants across the country, most of them regionally specific. Right around here, we got Bojangles as well. I mean, it is a huge market. We, the people, love to eat fried chicken and fried chicken sandwiches and fried chicken wings. We just do, and which I am very, very glad that we do.
I think we just like chicken in general.
We do. We just consume a lot of it. I got to find that data. Remember we found out how many 100 millions of burgers were fried on July 4th. I got to find out how much fried
We like
chicken.
it all.
We do.
Chicken breast, chicken thighs.
We do all of it, just
Yeah.
all together. I got to find out though how much actual fried chicken we consume. Somebody out there, somebody in Google land will actually, you know what? Now in this day and age, I should just go ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will probably tell me exactly how much fried chicken we consume here in this country, and I'm sure that data will be overwhelming because it is a lot. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's a lot. All right, let's talk markets. Got to do that here. Otherwise, we could talk food all day. A, because we're hungry, and B, because we like food. Let's talk markets here a little bit. Got to talk about the bounce back that we've had now since the middle of March, early April, when the market really went south as measured by our most popular stock indices in a very short amount of time. Right around that time is when we had the word tariff that really came to the forefront, and the market got spooked by it. There's no doubt about it. Market fell roughly 10 to 15%, depending upon how you're measuring it. It fell very, very quickly when the word tariff got thrown around, and specifically how tariffs were going to be imposed on other countries, the impact that would have on multinational companies. The market just didn't know how to price it. So the market fell very, very quickly, as it does during periods of significant uncertainty. What also happened after that time is about 3.5 weeks later, it just boomeranged back out. And so to the extent that if you're looking at the S&P 500 index, which, by the way, market cap weighted, so it's very heavily skewed towards the largest companies inside of it, no doubt about it, it's one of the shortcomings of the index, as there are shortcomings with every index, by the way, in my opinion, meaning in terms of how you compare to your overall portfolio. But the S&P 500 index, widely quoted, most often used, one of the most often used indexes, has bounced back about 28% off of those lows that it hit in April. 28%, meaning if you would have bought the basket of stocks inside of the S&P 500 index at the low in April, folks, that was 3 months ago. I mean, it's not like we're talking about 3 years ago or anything like that. Was 3 months ago. If you'd have bought at that low there, the S&P 500 index has bounced back approximately, as of the time of this live broadcast, approximately 28% in about 3 months. Now, I'm very thankful for that. If you happen to be invested in any of those things that have bounced back at that level, or you bought low during that time, very thankful that you did. Very happy for you, truly, in that kind of space. My reason for bringing that up is A, to make you aware of it, first of all, but then B, relative to the space where we are right now, as measured by our most popular stock indices, and I'm going to pull in especially the NASDAQ composite here, and I'll even drag in the Dow Jones Industrial Average into the conversation as well. Be a little bit leery. That's a huge amount of positive movement in a very short amount of time. That's the note of caution, right? I know. Every time you get to the fourth quarter of dollars and cents, you're like, all right, now he's going to tell us how terrible everything is. No, I'm not telling you everything's terrible. What I do is when things are going really, really well, is I bring in a note of caution. Maybe you want to reallocate a little bit. Maybe you want to rebalance a little bit. Maybe you want to sell some of the ones that have done very well for you. Rebalance in your portfolio. By the way, on the other side of things, when things are miserable, and you know this by this point from listening to Dollars and Cents, when nobody, relatively speaking, wants to buy in the market, yeah, I'm the guy who's saying, let's go buy something. Let's find some good stuff and let's go buy it on the cheap, which I know is pretty much the opposite of what you want to do, right? Whenever things are going really, really well, we have that gear inside of us that says, let's keep going. As a matter of fact, let's even buy more at a higher price. And then when things are going miserably and they're down and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is terrible and nothing's ever going to be good again, which is pretty much what everybody was saying in mid-April. That was only 3 months ago that the folks, oh my gosh, tariffs, inflation, misery, corporate earnings down, negative. And that was absolutely a time to be looking. And that's what we talked about then. And this is not an I told you so moment. This is just how markets work. And that's really what we want to talk about here in this segment. We want to talk about, again, to remind, I know we say it a lot, but this is how markets work. Generally speaking, we, the people, the investing public, when it comes to the markets, specifically the stock markets, we tend to think in straight lines. We do it. You don't have to believe me. Just watch any business news program right now. Truly, you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody to say, wow, this has been a lot. Sell, go to cash. I mean, if you find one, let me know. 844-STUDIO-4. Call into the studio here. Send us a note. I'm more than happy to take a look at them. I can't find them. And I'm not saying that everybody should sell and go to cash, or that, that there's a proverbial cliff coming as far as the stock market is concerned. Not saying that at all, actually. What I am saying is that when you have had growth that is significantly in excess of your expectation, it probably is prudent to take a look at it and to say, is there anything we should do here? Meaning we are so far above the norm of expectation. Let's just make numbers easy. All right. So if you can say, well, if I, it make 8 to 10% per year on average with an equity-based portfolio over a long period of time. And I'm just looking at the last 75 years of data and saying that 8 to 10% on average with a heavy equity-based portfolio. If you're at 8 to 10% already in July, well, folks, you are ahead of pace, significantly ahead of pace, almost double ahead of pace relative to the expanse of the calendar year. Maybe that's a time to take a look at where things are. Are there any things that you should do to rebalance? Are there any things that you should do to trim some of that proverbial cream off the top? Are there opportunities that you have to be able to buy some things that maybe haven't performed as well? That's a very big item, especially right now. I know a lot of attention is given to certain names. If you're a Palantir person, an NVIDIA person, if you're looking and say, oh my God, it's great, we need to go buy more. Well, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I think Palantir is only up 90% year to date. Is that the one you want to buy? Well, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying be leery if you do. Now, on the other hand, if you're taking a look at things that maybe haven't done as well this year, yeah, I'm staring at you, Apple, and I'm staring at you, Google, and a whole slew, second time today, using that word, of other things that are sitting out there, then that may be something to consider also, because those are things which have pulled back in value. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the intent of especially an equity-based portfolio, but I think any investment structure is to buy low, maybe sell high. I think that's how it's supposed to go together. You don't necessarily have to sell high, but certainly if you can buy low, mathematically, you're probably in a better space for the possibility of success. That's why I'm bringing it up to you here, because I've been hearing a lot of talk, especially because of how quickly things bounced back from those lows there in mid-April. A lot of talk about how great everything is, about inflation is tamed, unemployment is low, and those things are true. And but this, if it's not explicit, it is definitely implicit in what is being said about how things are going to continue to go. Well, friends, when folks are saying those kinds of things, I get queasy in my stomach. And I'm not saying that to share anything particular about me, but I get queasy because I know that's not how markets work. Markets run in cycles. Now, those can be longer cycles. So necessarily, just because something has gone up in value doesn't mean that it's primed to come down. Not saying that, but they do run in cycles. And just as much as there is euphoria when things have done well, there is absolute misery when things are not going well. And that's very, very important to keep in mind. Also, what's important to keep in mind, the best time to be looking at reallocation inside of your portfolio is when things are doing well. Think about it, right? I mean, again, this is the sell high kind of concept, that if things are really doing well right now, that may be a time to look at if rebalancing is right for you, if selling some of your winners is right for you, if taking a look at some of the things that have not performed as well, i.e. buying low, may be right for you. This is the time to do it. The time not to do it is when things are performing miserably, when things have pulled back dramatically in value, because all you're doing there is selling low, right? And I'm not saying that that's never a time to sell. I'm just saying that's not optimum in terms of the growth possibilities inside of your portfolio. So I know if you're a long-time listener to Dollars and Cents, every time the markets are doing well, you're like, oh, great. Here comes the gray cloud, the rainy day. Yeah, I am that guy. And I'm the one who's saying it right now. This is the time. If you're looking at rebalancing in your portfolio, if you're looking at some things that have just performed outrageously well, I threw out a couple of names there. You know some of those names? I am thrilled for you. That's awesome that you've had that kind of experience. But this is also the time to take a look at the balance. Do you have too much risk right now? Are you overexposed in certain areas? Meaning, are you too highly concentrated in one particular stock and one particular sector? It can happen easily, very innocently inside of a portfolio where some things do outrageously well and other things kind of lag behind. And so you get very heavily concentrated in one way or another. This is the time to do it, folks. So I want to make sure you're doing that, especially into strength. So make sure you're taking time. All right, folks, we're rapidly approaching the end of our time here together on Dollars and Cents presented by North Main Financial. As always, I appreciate so much you hanging with us here on Thursdays at 4 o'clock. We're going to come back next week, same time, same place. Going to be talking all kinds of stuff, stocks, probably some food and football along the way. I hope you tune in with us. Come back here on WSIC.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville, W264.